I'm here with Jeffrey Ahren of Legal Aid Service of Collier County, and we're going to talk a little bit about what legal aid assistance is available to people dealing with foreclosures. If you could start first off by telling me what Legal Aid Service does to help people.
Sure, Carrie. Legal Aid is a private law firm, nonprofit. We provide free legal assistance to low-income individuals on civil legal cases. And included among those services are housing law issues and people that need help with foreclosure matters.
So what should you do if you think you're getting to a point where maybe you're going to have to go into foreclosure? Where should you go for assistance? Where should you start? Well,
I think it depends on the timing of what part of the process that you're in. I think that the first thing I would say is you should be proactive. Don't ignore the mail that comes in there from the lender. Don't fail to answer your phone, because in many cases the lenders nowadays are reaching out to you with options or alternatives to foreclosure that they want to pursue that might make sense both from the banking perspective and from the homeowner's perspective. So they should do that, and they should also stay in their home and maintain their home, because a lot of these loan modification processes and programs that are now out there and available require the homeowner to be physically present and occupying the home as their everyday residence and to maintain it.
Okay.
I think that for anybody, no matter what stage of foreclosure or pre-foreclosure they may be in, the best advice would be to reach out for assistance as early as possible. As soon as you are either falling behind on mortgage payments, or even if you think you're in the few upcoming months are going to fall behind on mortgage payments, you should reach out as early as possible for some help. And there are some resources out there. The first suggestion would be for those that can afford it, obviously, to hire a competent attorney to guide them and give them advice about their particular situation. But we realize there are many people out there, particularly those who qualify for legal aid, who can't afford an attorney. And so we would then suggest that folks call legal aid and see if they're eligible for our program, and we would like to help them out if we can, either through our housing attorney or through our pro bono attorneys that assist our program. If folks can't afford if they don't qualify for legal aid and they can't afford an attorney, they may also want to, there are some other resources out there. They may want to call the Collier County Housing Development Corporation, which is an agency partner of our Collier County Foreclosure Task Force. And they're a nonprofit agency that provides free credit and foreclosure prevention counseling. And they do things like sit down and create a budget with folks and put together what's known as the loss mitigation packet that the lenders need to make decisions on how to possibly avoid foreclosure and pursue options like loan modifications. Additionally, if they're in a pre-foreclosure posture, meaning they haven't been served with any kind of a foreclosure lawsuit, they can call the FLASH program, which is a Florida Attorney Saving Homes. It is a program, Carrie, that was developed by the Florida Bar and Florida Legal Services to provide free pro bono advice and pro bono attorneys to help people negotiate with their lenders and figure out ways to save their homes if possible. And they can call that number as well. And finally, there is lawyer referral service through the Collier County Bar Association.
A lot of options out there.
There are. They should take advantage of all of them, and there should be a piece that fits for anyone's situation financially or whatever timing they're in the foreclosure posture.
What about some other people that might be affected by foreclosure, but it's not their direct issue? For example, renters. Your landlord maybe is not making payments. Maybe you know it. Maybe you find out with some paperwork. What should you do if you're a renter?
Well, that's a very common situation, unfortunately, and a lot of folks don't know what to do. There's a lot of misinformation out there as to what renters are to do in those kinds of situations. I'd suggest that they call, again, if they can afford an attorney, reach out for an attorney, but they can call legal aid. Quite a few folks that are in rental situations, they probably may qualify for legal aid if they're lower income, and our housing attorney or others can guide them as to what the next step might be. But it's very fact sensitive, those situations, so there's no one-size-fits-all rule of thumb as to what they should do, but they should know their rights clearly and plan accordingly.
Okay, now you also see some things out there, some signs often when you're just driving down the road, foreclosure rescue. You say some of these are scams. So how do you protect yourself? Because you certainly aren't in a position where you want to get scammed.
That's true, and there is a lot of fraud out there. I'd say a few a few things that folks could keep in mind. There are certified foreclosure intervention and prevention agencies out there, and they're nonprofit, and they provide the free counseling service to folks without any cost or charge. And that would include the Collier County Housing Development Corporation. There's a Homeowners Resource Center in Fort Myers, a Consumer Credit Counseling Service, and other numbers that they can look up where they can call and they can get this service for free. So I'd say it may be a red flag if someone is charging them, particularly if they want money up front or cash up front before they give this advice or this so-called service. And I'm not saying that there may not be some legitimate private agencies out there. However, it may be a red flag if somebody wants a large amount of money up front. They may want to, maybe look into some of these free counseling services that are available as a first option. I'd also ask that folks that are interested for all of these issues as to tips or techniques or the latest news about foreclosures, the Foreclosure Task Force has created a website that is a good resource, and that is available at www.foreclosuretaskforce.blogspot.com. And
Okay.
I know that's a mouthful, but if they just Google Collier County Foreclosure Task Force, it's probably the first thing that comes up. And there are a lot of resources there, including 2 hours worth of video that that was from an event that we had held as a Foreclosure Task Force back in May. That contains tips and techniques, and it's broken down into segments so that nobody has to watch 2 hours worth of video. They can go right to the portion that is meaningful or helpful to them. And there are lots of articles and resources that they can find there online, and we continually update that, and we will do so in the future. And I would suggest that folks take advantage of that resource as well as a source of information.
Sure. Okay. Well, I appreciate you sitting down and talking to me about this today.
I appreciate it, Carrie. Thank you.